You're listening to Behind Enemy Lines, the podcast, bringing you wargaming news from around the world with your hosts Greg, Damian, and Dan. Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the Behind Enemy Lines podcast. You're back with us, Dan, Greg, and Damian. As you heard in our fancy new intro, welcome and apologies for the massive delay of nearly 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 or 5 months. No big deal, but we're back, and that's all that's important to you, the listener.
Come, I didn't get to hear the intro. Do you put that in afterwards?
I put that in afterwards. You don't need to.
Okay.
Just relax. The magic of editing. So, we're back.
You edit.
It's been a while.
So much.
I mostly just your ums. I tried editing all the ums once. Woo, tell you what, that was an extra 2 hours of going through everything I just heard and talked about, and like, oh, there's an there's another oh, get rid of that I don't got time. No one's got time to get rid of ums. Holy shit.
Didn't that podcast go from like 2 hours down to 35 minutes?
There's some that have gone on for ages. Now it's just like, just ramble the bits at the end. We're all like saying mean things about people.
Ums are an absolute valid placeholder. It's a valid technique, rather like dry brushing.
It's actually not. In radio school, they said, don't say ums and ahs. It makes you sound like you're stupid and don't know what you're doing. You just
It's better than me. It's better than me swearing.
Nonsense. Well, you don't swear because you get demonetized from YouTube when this eventually makes it. And we can't. Oh fuck! I said Oh, I swore too. We're not getting anything. Oh no!
Hey,
cut the show right here. Start again. Oh my god!
Yeah, no, don't start again. How about you just do your intro and I'll shut up and Greg will listen for a bit.
No, never mind.
So
we've done
just
it.
Do your intro.
We've done it. We're here now. I'm not going to do it again.
What a crap intro!
One and done. And I think our audience will appreciate the intro.
If you're new here, this is the norm.
Well, if they're new here, it's like, welcome to the show. You haven't noticed any difference between the 5-6 month hiatus we took because, lives are difficult apparently. But we're back now, and that's all that matters. And we're going to stick to a proper schedule, right?
Was it really August when we did the last one?
14th of August was when it was published up to Podbean. That's behindenemylinespodcast.podbean.com.
Oh, yep. Greg, if you want to do your stupid socials, can you get it done?
Remember how we have social media channels?
Now over to Greg with socials.
Socials, right. So we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, although I don't check the Twitter that much anymore because we've moved it to the Insta. We're on the Insta. We're Insta famous. It's all good. Behind Enemy Lines podcast over there. Check us out on YouTube. I'm trying. Oh man, that was an I'm going to try and get some opponents to come and play some videos in the Nublia after I get it tidied up because
you still have not done that.
I did tidy it up, and then it got messy again after I there's another after running Flamescon. There's still terrain and stuff all over the table.
Tisk. But
not put out like to play on the table. Like still in the boxes and stuff.
Oh, should move the boxes under the table. That's a smart move.
Can't. There's boxes already under the table.
Problems. Oh,
well. I need more shelving.
Yes, you do. Oh well. That's good. So we got Instagram. I should really put my pictures on the Instagram, but I don't because it's just you, Greg.
Pictures of you. You've got a
photo of me of Instagram stuff. Why do you want pictures of me? God, no one wants to look
dogs.
No one wants to look at pictures of gamers.
Instagram.
No one wants to look at pictures of modeling Instagrams unless they're like those like weird Russian chicks who are like always amazingly good looking and can paint Golden Demon and everyone's like, oh okay. They're like, you look at their profile, it's like following 300 people, followers 5,000. I'm like,
how you labeled. I like how you just labeled them as weird.
What do you mean? They are. You look at their accounts. It's like, why does this have 5,000 followers and she's only following 1,000 people? Has she got her hashtag game on? And it's like you go through. It's like cool model, tits out, cool model, tits out, cool model. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's how they did it. It's like, oh, that's where it comes from. It's like, I need some more followers. Here's my titties. All right.
Okay, anyway. So on that titty, I just want to put it.
What you're saying is I should get my titties out on Insta?
Oh, mate. No.
Ladies.
No.
Wargamers of Instagram. Check out my man titties.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse.
And neither could I.
I'm about to.
I just want to put a big shout out. a big shout out to myself for actually getting
geez.
all technical and stuff, and
I
actually.
thought you were going to cut out through halfway through that speech, like you might cut out. It's like, I got all technical. Gone. It's like he's gone. We've lost him. It's game over.
I'd like to give
this is a big step up for me.
Sorry, Kanye.
Ugh, yuck.
But I'm gonna say that Daniel's got the best titties in wargaming.
Gross.
I'm sorry, but Daniel's got the best titties in wargaming.
There's a YouTube channel just to change direction where we're not allowed to show titties. It's currently got 1,280 subs, which is great. We'd like more, so go there and subscribe.
They were coming for
Shh, don't play a video, Daniel. There's a talk on it. I'm surprised this channel.
What?
Well, someone says, "I'm surprised this channel hasn't got more attention. This is great." And I don't know. That's on the Gaslands race that you guys all played wrong. Oh, yuck!
Didn't play that wrong. It was perfect.
Dude,
Is that the YouTube channel?
That's the YouTube channel. I'm reading the comments, which is like, you know.
I better go back and have a look at that, eh? I'll make sure the sound's off on it, though.
I'm not allowed to go in there.
YouTube.
Hang on. This is a highlighted... What's a highlighted comment mean? Oh, that means I haven't read it yet. But anyway, this is someone probably trying to sell us ads.
Update it, man. Update it. Just say, we're back!
Oh, no, it's just no one. But yeah, no, the YouTube channel's going okay. I put a new video out yesterday... No, sorry, last week. What the fuck am I talking about? That had me trying to test out glow-in-the-dark paints.
Look pretty cool.
It looked pretty cool when they work.
They were coming for us. It was
but
only
sometimes they don't work. But, you know, your results may vary, etc.
Yeah. Wouldn't that glow-in-the-dark paint be suitable for radioactive zombies or something? And that's pretty much about it.
I have a blue one. It's good for power weapons too.
Totally.
Really?
Did you not see my Iron Warrior?
I'm going to go and have a look. Where is it?
I don't know.
Podcast, battle reports, weekly whip, gaming.
No.
Do it in your own time.
Do it in your own time. Jesus. You're here for the people now, scrub. All right. Anyway, so that's our YouTube. So we're trying to grow more there. Yep. Yeah. Other things? How about some of that? Noob news. Mute. Don't you join in?
Oh, why not?
Well, because this Damian's literal only thing he's good for.
Soz.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Right. Noob news. Let's get it into it and find out what's coming soon.
Who do you want to start?
I do. How about that World War III, which is also known as Team Yankee 2 from Battlefront. The British are coming, teehee, which I find funny, coming in, I think it's February, because they're up for pre-order now. And they've introduced the later stuff. So now you're getting nice into the 90s. So you're getting your Challenger 1s, are they? Challenger 1s, yep. And your... Warriors and the little Lynx cars, and everyone's getting MLRS.
Hey!
For when you need to deliver a pie plate to the other side of the world, why not choose MLRS? And also upgrade for flying mines, because you can fire mines as well from them, which I thought was pretty cool. Oh, and a Challenger troop. My goodness, that looks sexy. It's when the British decided not to build big dumb lumps of stuff and started to build, angled lumps of stuff.
But like proper tanks, right? Like this thing is monstrous.
It's still like one shot on the move. It ain't no Leopard.
Oh, it's not, but it's front hammer 21, 22 with Rommel.
Yeah.
So
it's not bad. Oh, and I was watching the internet the other day. Before they've even been out, the Warrior Platoon has already caused controversy for its deep reserve because it can upgrade its armor package to be one higher armor, which puts it into the has to be in deep reserves. And someone's like, dude, what's deep reserves? Like, tanks are supposed to be in it, but it's not technically a tank. And it's like, whew. But somehow 421 comments later, and people still didn't believe, the guy who wrote the rules is correct, and so they'll just play whatever they want. No, Phil, the rules of the game, not the rules of the book. Yeah, so deep reserves is apparently the rule where you've got over a certain armor limit, you have to be that unit. You can only have one unit of that on the table of 5 or higher. No, 6 or higher. I can't remember.
I think it's 6 or higher.
It's 6 or
I haven't
higher.
got the new robot. I haven't got my new robot.
Neither do I. Sad face. I don't think I've...
Wait, here it is.
Okay. I think it's 6 or higher for deep reserves. And they're all having a big cry about, like, you know, if you upgrade this, technically it's not a tank, but actually it is a tank. Everything in this game, like, it's 2 things in this game. Tank, infantry.
It's a tank attachment.
So it has the word tank.
That's what it is.
What's tank? But I think they were arguing that the word tank attachment,
Yeah.
it's not technically a tank. It's like, it's a tank. It's like the same idiot I encountered down here who argued that the Genestealer cultists on bikes were infantry, therefore they could assault into the building's 2nd floor because he could take them as a troop choice.
Story checks out.
Yeah. Story checks
totally
out,
legit.
but brains check out, so I think he'd check out.
Man, it's
So,
totally legit. It's something I'd try.
yes.
Which
huge.
which absolutely means that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't find out until you try it.
Yeah. And what I also shut up, I'm doing the friggin' news. Christ, you guys talk some bollocks.
I'm down, Petty
Nice
Gower.
work, Petty Gower. Yeah.
Plastic planes.
No, did not see that coming.
Did you not know that? So Harriers, Tornadoes, and the Frogfoots are being released by that company that makes planes. What are they
Larry?
called? It's called Revell, I think.
Oh. Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're not doing the A10, which is really which is disappointing, because the A10 is a cool plane. I imagine it probably sells. I imagine actually probably the Harrier probably sells the mouse the most. More than likely because of all its cheaty ability to come in on a 3 and its cluster munitions.
Yeah, it depends on who's playing them, I guess. But yeah, you could be right about that.
But that's going to be released in plastic. So it looks like the only things that'll be metal now are your weird stuff.
Artillery and bits and pieces like that, because the Abbott and stuff is still going to be in resin for the British. And
I'm just checking.
M109s and
MLRS is going to be plastic as well, which is
that
understandable
doesn't
because it's
sound
all
right.
well, it says on the box. And I think the M109 battery is also now in plastic because so many people use it. They put little flags on top of the box for what countries can use it, and it's pretty much everyone except Iraqis and the war pack.
Russians.
War pack nations, yeah. Is that war pack? Warsaw pack?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty cool that they've got plastic planes. So no more broken wings arriving in the post, and no more.
Well, you
having
say
to-
that.
Oh, they're plastic. They'll be in a proper package by a company that knows how to package model planes
say that.
for shipping. Plastic usually flexes a bit better than resin. Anyway,
Oh, on board. What's next?
shut up. I don't know, Greg. What do you got? Tell us about my old favorite Victory at Sea.
Oh yeah, so I saw on tabletop today that Warlord Games is. It looks as though they're going to be re-releasing Victory at Sea. So that was the old Mongoose publishing game for World War II action, like 1-2,400 scale ships. Is that right?
Yep, that's
Something like that. So it looks
Monkey's
as though
got heaps of fleets for it, so he'll be happy.
He'll be super happy. So it looks as though the first box set, and it is. It looks as though it's 128.50.
What?
But I'm trying to read on the box. So it's US and Japanese fleets.
128.50 is about. It's pretty much hard to see the difference between 12400 and 128.50, I think. But
I think so.
A lot of people have the 12400 because it was a big thing. I think one guy in the country was importing the books, and one year they forgot to run a Flames of War event at a big event because they were all running Victory at Sea. And they were like, whoopsie doodlies. I'm just having a look to see if there's anything else coming out for not World War 3, like World War 2. Remember that game? Regular Flames
World 2's
of
been a
War.
bit quiet of late.
February's the British book is due out for regular one, allegedly.
Yes. Yeah.
In fact,
Well, everybody's coming to grips with the books that have been released already for World War II, so they're just making lists out of that.
Well, they have
and
to.
then there was the new sort of semi-small release for the 21st Panzer as well. So
the
a
direct order
lot
stuff.
of people. Yeah. So people will be getting their heads around that.
Yeah, the ugly tanks that I never liked the look of.
A range schlepper.
I like. Oh, it's just called a Rheinwerfer. Didn't it used to be called a Rheinfachwerfer?
I
don't know.
Yeah, because it's just a Rheinwerfer now, which is like the rocket mortars.
Werfer. Go with that.
I do used
Are
to
you
call it
thinking the late
Rheinfachwerfer.
war ones?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not a pronouncer of German. I just like to add a swear word into words every now and again.
Bastardise it.
Yeah. What's Games Workshop doing aside from costing the world money, and what are they releasing?
You mean
Anything
making
good?
money hand over fist?
That's the word.
Hell, man,
That's the word.
they are doing so well this year that they are. I don't know what they're doing.
It's fairly big
like,
number.
Someone did a thing, said if you invested in one share in it instead of buying an army in like 2007 when the shares were like $300 each, you'd be about $4,700 richer right now, or something along those lines. So they're pretty darn cool, price wise. So they must be doing well.
They've been doing good things, right? So I got an email. When did I get this email? Email this morning. I got it this morning for breaking news from the Nuremberg Toy Fair about what they've got coming up. And so there's Aeronautical Imperialis is getting Tau.
Don't care. Like that Aeronautica game was like always a pointless, stupid game. I felt anyway, and now they're adding Tau to it. It's like
I don't know.
Fart noise.
There's a campaign book that's coming out with that as well. Goliaths. Again, new Goliaths coming out for Necromunda.
Ruin Necromunda with a different rule set. Should have just kept the same one.
We know how you feel about it, all right. And then there's a new starter set
box set
for Adeptus Titanicus. So there's looks like a small starter set coming out. Yeah.
It's the one with the gun on its back, like they released in the big version, right?
That's a new Titan in itself, the Warbringer Nemesis. So that doesn't come in the new box. The new box has got two Reavers.
Can't you buy? No. When I mean the Nemesis is the one you can buy for like $5 to $10 or whatever it is from Forge World. Isn't that the one with
scale?
Yeah, but not an epic scale. But you can buy.
You mean the little tiny
regular? No, the Warlord or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You could buy with the Nemesis, whatever it is on the back of it. I can't remember.
No, it's got a yeah. Anyway.
Let me Google. You keep talking.
It's a back-mounted Quake cannon.
What?
A BFG. Battlefleet Gothic.
Oh, who's doing that?
Who's doing Battlefleet Gothic?
Where'd you say that?
Reed, where have you gone?
I'm still here. I'm lurking.
He's gone.
He's lost.
Let's go to BFG.
Oh, nope. It's a BFG. It's a big frigging gun.
Oh my god! Don't say BFG.
Because he doesn't. No, they won't. They know we're talking about Doom. You're the only one who doesn't know that because you have an Apple.
Apple.
And you don't understand how video games work because you're not cool. Okay, it has the gun in the center of the back. The Mars pattern Warlord Titan can get the cannons that go on its shoulders.
Oh,
they look like 3 turbo lasers by the looks of things, or whatever they're called.
I'm with you now.
Slightly different, but just
box
as
set is quite cool though.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got 2 Warhounds, 2 Knights, and 2 Reavers. So that's not bad.
Just waiting to see the price point on that.
6 stompy things. Yeah, the price point should be. Yeah.
Wait and see.
The price point will be ridiculous. It's this country. Well, for the rest of the world, it'll be reasonable for a hobby product. But for New Zealand, it would be OP as shenanigans. Because I think one of those robots is the tiny robots. That is.
Restless Knights.
The Knights, they're about $80 to $100 and something for a box of 2 or 3. So it's.
I'm the only one that really hates them. Like just their look, and think they look.
What's that?
Knights.
Yeah.
I really do think they're shit. I think they're shit on the table. I think they look like shit. They're just shit.
Well, that's
or is that just me?
Tell us what you really think.
Oh, I could, but do you have enough time?
Demonetized all day, kids? Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
We don't have at this point. We'll owe YouTube money the way Damian's getting all sweary. Any new board games? Any cool stuff like that?
I haven't really been keeping an eye on board games, to be honest. Pass.
Nothing has caught my fancy recently.
No,
if that's a thing.
There's some rumored stuff. Star Wars Legion coming out soon. Padme is apparently on her way to help out the clone.
Goodbye, Star Wars Destiny. Thanks, FFG.
Goodbye, Star Wars Destiny. Yeah, good point. Yeah, pretty much everything except for Legion out of FFG is gone now. I don't think
X-Wing looks like it's. I don't think X-Wing's going to last much longer, to be honest.
No, it doesn't look like it's sort of fallen out of favour, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, their changeover went really, really badly, and none of the established players went back to it. So, and oh man, I mean, the rage in that one, that was actually kind of special because guys were just getting their collections and just saying, I don't want this anymore, and giving them all away. And that's a lot of ships.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right.
I held on to mine,
so
but only
so that's Gale Force 9 doing... Oh, not Gale Force 9, sorry. That's, what are they called? Remind
FG.
me. Huh?
FG.
Fantasy Flight. Right?
Yeah.
FFG.
Yeah.
Not whatever Damian tried
That's what
to
I
say.
said. I'm saying FFG.
You only
What
said
the hell,
one.
man?
You missed out on
you
one
deaf?
F.
No, I just started.
Because you know speak proper.
I don't.
I know. It's terrible. So what was I saying? So they're getting rid of, or they're going to lose, what looks like X-Wings going down the toilet. That dice game of theirs, that one's dying as well, right?
Choked on its aspirations, man. It's gone.
And Star Wars Legion, are they dying that, killing that as well?
No, God no.
Okay, because I was going to say that one seems to be pretty cool and people like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm painting up some miniatures for a video right now. I'm gonna do a Shore Trooper because that was all that the other guy had. It's like I said, can I borrow one of those to make a painting video with? And he's like, okay. And I was like, I better paint the whole lot because if I don't, one will look like different from how you paint. So I'm painting up a whole what do you call them? Squad.
Unit squad.
Unit expansion of Shore Troopers.
Video to can't shoot anything.
There'll be a video on the weekend. That's a better way of saying it, of me painting that. But the way the miniatures are put together, they're all hard plastic push togethers, but they're hard plastic. They're not that usual bendy shit that you have to work with. That's absolute garbage and full of flash.
That's pretty good actually.
Like whose miniatures were like that?
They were the Series 2 War Machine ones, I think.
Yeah, those were terrible.
Restic.
Yeah, Restic. Yeah. That was it. That resiny plastic. That was the worst.
I think that's why you keep me around, because I remember shit.
Not really.
Yeah, I do.
But these are hard plastic, and they pull apart, which is kind of cool. So you pull off the head, pull off an arm, and you can get real in the gaps and real detail on them. So I'm going to do that, and there'll be a nifty video on how I paint that. But that's a video, so we don't talk about videos on the audio. This is radio, kids. This is radio. You're on the air, but really you're not, because we don't want people talking to us, because you might call us names. But yeah,
I would call you names.
Everything has been released recently-ish in the last 6 months. We can't go back in that because it's dumb. We like to do recent talks. Normally...
Let's just say we missed a whole heap of stuff.
We missed loads of stuff, and we're back now. We normally talk about things, and we're normally more organised. But me trying to get a hold of these two people at the same time is literally like herding cats. Anyone who's ever had to deal with Damian and Greek understands that they're flaky as shit.
We're busy.
Yeah, whatever. All sorts of stuff.
Don't have the best boobs in wargaming, unlike yourself, mate. So we got plenty of other things to keep us occupied.
Like real girls.
Oh, funny. Yeah, I think there was stuff I was going to talk about until you guys distracted me, which is never unsurprising to me, to be honest.
It's normal, right?
Yeah. What is there? There must be something.
What have we covered? We've covered World War II, World War III, GW. Are you guys doing anything for Age of Sigma or anything like that? The other side, with Sigmarines? No.
You asked me if there's new stuff.
With GW stuff.
Nothing new for it.
Nothing new. Who else? Manufacturers. Victory at Sea's been covered.
It's Warlord. So But my thing,
Jason,
Age of Sigmar seems to be doing the whole thing like 40k and just getting run away with random stuff and more expansions and more silly things. So it's like, and I lost interest in it when they released like what looked like an unstoppable side of like skeleton people who weren't desert skeleton people. If you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
They're the
like,
new Aussie Osborns.
Aussies, yeah. It's like, nah.
Aussie Osbornians.
I watched a game of it, and the guy's like, I bought this giant character who's a big skeleton dude, and here is his zombie people friends, and they make more zombie people friends, and I auto win with him because he can't die. I was like, oh, this reminds me of like when they used to bring Fate Weaver, and it's like, he has a 2-up rerollable and rerolls 1s. What? Yeah, you did. It's like, the worst. 40k seems to have.
In case of the bloats.
It is getting very bloated, but we can talk about that in the end section.
Good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. What's getting bloaty? What's
bloaty.
not. I'm just looking for new stuff. See if there's anything new. I mean, there's tons of.
There's little things out there. I mean, what about the Kickstarter world?
I haven't checked that, but a lot of things coming out lately. Also, another thing I like to talk about is a lot of Kickstarters for 3D printing files.
Oh yeah.
Now, you know how I used to like, everyone used to be like, oh my god, look at my 3D printed thing, and it used to have all that stepping, and I used to like, what's the word, humor them, but like, oh yeah, it looks good, really, it looked like shit. A lot of it did. Person down here, a friend, has got a one of those resin LED.
He actually managed to make friends in Invercargill.
I have many friends. I'm a very popular person.
Ones that don't lock you in a cupboard and bring
Popular
you out
person, shut up, fool.
Because he's got the best in wargaming.
It's because I don't roll my R's, so I'm interesting to them. It's like you don't.
Do they think you come from Gore?
It's like, no, people in Gore still roll their R's. It goes all the way up to Belclutha, and then as soon as you cross that bridge, boom, rolling R stops.
Can you just hit that button that does the cricket noises for us?
Uh-oh, retard alert!
I did that one for you, Greg.
I thought you said you weren't going to use that one.
I don't care. Yeah. So the rolling R stops at a certain point. Anyway, enough of the story of the regional accent in New Zealand, the only accent in New Zealand. But yeah, he has like a resin LED printer. And I thought, oh, okay, this is just going to be the same shit as like, normal 3D printing. And he printed off some sort of booby monster. And I was like, oh, cool. And he wanted to be shown how to use an airbrush. And I was like, oh,
that's where you got your bust from.
Yeah, just where I traded it from, yeah. It's not a bust, it's actually a whole marine. It's like 60-something centimeters or whatever it is.
Did he resin print your boobs?
It's not a bust, it's not a boob, it's a fucking space marine. But yeah, he wanted some airbrushing lessons on how to use an airbrush, how to clean airbrush, how to do things with the airbrush, etc. And the money he got, I was like, oh, where'd you purchase this many from? He's like, I printed it on his little 3D printer, and it was very smooth, and there were no flaws, and there was this stepping, but it's real light stepping, and you can see where model makers nowadays 3D print the model, clean it up, break it into the parts they need to cast it, and then just make metal casts of it or resin casts of it, and it's really, really flash. And give it 5 more years, I'd say, and all the companies that make soldiers, toy soldiers, are just not going to need to anymore because you can just print your own. The money will be in sending files, and whoever's the best computer designer guy, what's it called? The program they use, CAD or one of those things. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
CAD,
that'll do.
Yeah, some computer-aided design program. They will be the ones who will be kind of valuable people because they're good at designing things. I mean, the best I can probably do is a box. So plastic injection molding, yes, and that's why you see Games Workshop, I think, heading the way of making everything stand on a wingtip or doing lots of fluffy stuff because they want to make their models really dynamic, really split up, and really hard to transport by the looks of things. But they want to give that look of like, our models are better than anything you could ever 3D print.
They're going to have to, right?
They're going to have to up their game, which is the thing. Or Games Workshop can just do what they always do and deny that anything outside of Games Workshop exists, which worked
Duncan Rhodes.
Oh yeah, he left. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not know that?
You?
No, but talking about Damian.
I'm following his new account. Oh, right.
No, I knew he
Following his
left.
new account.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm following his new Instagram, and I'm waiting for him to
Remember,
post.
I said he was heading off to learn how to dry brush because it was one thing missing from his painting armory.
Oh, harsh.
Yes, I'm sure that's what he's going to do. I'm waiting for the first time for him
Keeps
to
it up
use it.
tonight.
First time for him
It's
to
off.
use a non-Games Workshop paint, and the first time for him to paint a non-Games Workshop model.
Done that.
Those are the
know,
great
right?
days. Where?
Like he's been posting stuff up there about his. So if you check his Twitter,
I don't use
he's
Twitter's for old people to argue with politicians. No one uses fucking Twitter.
and
like
Duncan Rhodes
Instagram.
also uses Twitter.
Well, good on him, old man. He can argue with his politicians. Enjoy
If you go and
Brexit.
look,
Two thin coats
Enjoy
won't
it,
save you
yeah,
for the disasters that's coming, buddy.
so his last. What have we got here?
It's like, what do you mean medicine's gone up 500%? Riots in the street, two thin coats. Sorry, can't afford two thin coats. Looks like you're fucked. Just burn,
Song of Ice and
just
Fire,
burn some
Paint-
coal. Oh, I do love picking on the English and their terrible decisions.
They started it right.
Enjoy your chlorinated chicken, boys. Dear. Oh, keeping up with public
Been
events.
painting
Anyway,
Fallout. He's been painting. What else has he been playing?
has he? He
He's
hasn't been
old,
putting it
isn't he?
on his bloody Instagram then?
No, it's on his Twitter, mate. He's got 1,800 tweets on there. He's got War Machine.
No one wants to read.
He's got Bretonians.
It's become a Twitter, Dan. Be done with it.
I have a Twitter. I just don't use it because it's dumb. It's like, what do I need to argue?
Here's
Like, you have to argue with people in 140 characters or less. It's like, how do you even
Listen,
rant?
January, he posted that he's been using a wet palette for the first time, and it's an army painter one.
Ooh, breaking the rules.
I know.
I have one of
He
those.
was doing his Napoleonics.
Napoleonics. That is,
Right.
that's a bit mental.
He's a real war gamer.
Ooh, real nerd. Real nerd.
Not until I
that's-
see him dry brush something.
I'm sure
He's
he'll
dry
do
brushing
that.
all the things.
You're just missing out, Damian. Missing out.
Two thin
Yeah.
coats, buddy.
Two thin coats. No
Yep.
thin coats. Anyway, we've run out of ideas and people to pick on in this
Do we
episode.
want to answer these questions or not?
Answering the second part.
Okay.
They're not that important.
Let's have a break. I'm hungry. I want
Yep.
a sandwich. I'm always hungry.
I like turtles.
I get fed much.
I'm hungry. No one loves me. I'm a loner. Need tokens, terrain, or custom battlefield accessories? BattleKiwi.com has you covered. With a wide range of laser cut MDF and acrylic, it has something to suit everyone's wargaming needs. Ranging from the battlefields of World War II to the far future of Infinity, BattleKiwi.com has it all. Visit BattleKiwi.com, and for a 5% discount, use the code BEL5.
And welcome back to part 2 of Behind Enemy Lines, episode 58, where we are going to tell you what's been going on at our respective clubs. Probably most recently, not like back in like September and shit when we were supposed to be recording and not recording because Dan was being useless.
What? Get out.
It's true. You were useless.
I was
Not
here
show
all your
up
fault.
every
once.
day, ready for you losers to stop dealing with your lives and
Man, it's all
working
your fault.
jobs.
100% your fault. We took a vote.
That's a fart noise for you guys.
Let's talk about what's been going on down south.
What about down the south? Sorry,
What have you been doing in the deep
What?
dark south?
playing games, painting toy soldiers. You know, normal people
Things
stuff.
have you been playing?
30k. Warhammer 30k.
Why?
Horus Heresy. Why?
Horror.
30K. 30K. What is this? What is this 30K, Dan?
Well, you see, my brother and many people down here play 30k. And I was like, why are you playing this instead of the new wonderful 8th edition? And they got very angry because why does vehicles have wounds? This dumb, me no likey, why you do? For some reason, they only used half their words. You know,
Roll their R.
why say many when few will do? They were not impressed with the 8th edition rules and how anything could be wounded on a 6. And they're like, this is utter shit. Not fans, and they're already playing 30k, and they've been playing it for a while.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, I don't know if I will. And my brother's like, here, have an army. And I was like, all right, then I suppose. So got me some Iron Warriors, and we had a first game. And I don't think I was podcasting when I had the first game, but it was the Centurion version of it, which is the fan-made, low points, no big giant units, which you can get, which is even awesomer. But I absolutely pantsed my brother. I didn't lose a single model. And managed. Iron Warriors have a unit, a heavy support unit called Iron Havocs, which hit on 2s. And
basically Space Napoleonic.
Well, not really. They're just
you did.
and I gave them rocket launchers. And he had a team of rocket launcher guys at the back, but I got first turn, so I shot them all off the board. Boom, gone. And then I just rushed forward with the troops and just started shooting shit. He had a thing, like, because in this game you can't deep strike everything you want all the time, like you can in 8th. It has to have a very specific rule saying it can deep strike, or a unit is able to deep strike. And he left half his stuff off because half his things could come on deep strike. He was using black shield rules. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I was just like, okay. So I shot the unit of rocket launchers with my rocket launchers, and he had 2 left, and they failed around. They ran off the table. Because remember the old rule, we had to run away and you failed them around test. And because he had them at the back of the board, they took off the table. I elected to take one of the giant walking robots with a big hammer and heavy bolter on his shoulder as one of my support units. No, not a dreadnought. One of the Iron Circle, which is like a Mechanicum robot with a shield and a big hammer.
Or something like that.
No, it's specific to the Iron Warriors. It's got a big shield and a big hammer and a heavy bolter on his shoulder. Anyway, I ran him in and killed a bunch of dudes. Anyway, so all Josh had to do was roll a 2 for reserves,
Yes.
and then roll another 2 for his reserves, and then roll anything but a 1 to carry on playing. And he's like, okay, so 1, no reserves, cool. 1, no reserves. Oh, okay, well, let's see. 1, okay, and you lose. And I lost no models at all. Not a single miniature. I was like, piss easy game. And then I had a second game and I got pants.
Can't really laugh too much at that. I've been there too many times.
Salamanders are like the cheese whiz because they're one of the only few whose Terminators can take storm shields. But I don't think they call them storm shields. And storm shields in this are like, oh my lord. And anything with them, you have to have them vulnerable saves. That's the only thing I'll say. You have to have an Iron Halo if you're building an HQ. Otherwise, they will die. Especially if someone's rocking around Paragon blades or a Paragon knife, as my brothers want to do. It goes. It's pretty cool. We did play a Zone Mortalis game. Played. It was Alpha Legion. It's my brother and me with my Iron Warriors. Zone Mortalis is only anything on that's 4 inches wide can play in the game. We found out that the other people playing was Salamanders again and the Custodes player.
Talons of the Emperor.
Yeah, I don't know, Custodes.
Sure.
Anyway, and we found out that those little weird tanks with the gun on top of them, the floaty ones that they have with I don't know what they're called. Anyway, they're just under 4 inches wide, so they can go in Zone Mortalis, which is great because they absolutely destroy things. But oh my god,
yeah,
had 2 dreadnoughts. We had dreadnoughts. Nothing worked out for us. We got absolutely slaughtered. But the highlight was my brother's leader has a Paragon. I think it's a knife, and he shanked Custodes big leader champion and killed him in the first round of combat.
Nice.
The Custodes came in, tried to hit, whiffed, absolutely missed, and then Josh just went stab and it was dead. Insta death. It's like, thanks for coming. And meanwhile, I'm getting my ass handed to me by a chaplain with bloody Thunderhammer that strikes at initiative, which is not great, to be honest. And
he's the Salamander special character, right?
No, it's just the thing is just a chaplain of his. Not sure.
Praetor or something.
It's one of the. It's just some of the rules and equipments they can have. So that's another thing where I like that game because everybody uses the same rules essentially. They use the rules from the Red Book. No one's got their own secret little codex where they can hide a special rule in, and you don't have to memorize every single thing about X, but each chapter has its own unique rules, so much so that it's different. And sure, there's game killer lists and you can net deck all you want, but within each list within each like army, let's say, there's at least what is it, 5 or 6, 7, 8 different ways of building a list, and within those 8 different ways there's multiple ways of building lists differently.
Okay.
So to me, it's more to be honest, it seems to me more flexible than just bringing Primaris Lieutenants to everything, or picking Iron Hands to win, everything.
So what rules?
No, that's just a glitch. There's no such thing as Iron Hands.
Yes, there are. They're actually in this, but because they're a pre-heresy army.
There's no the rules are based on 7th edition.
7th edition, but Magic is slightly not as dumb. You know how they took invisibility out of the game. Like, there's no invisibility because no one's got time to hide Warlord Titans and whatnot and make life difficult for folks. We did find a way that does annoy Titan players though. I don't think it's found. I think it's a very obvious way. There's a special weapon that stuns them.
Players.
I think it makes them snap fire if you hit them with it.
What do you mean Titan players? This game's in 28 mil.
Yeah, we've got at least there's a few what do you call those mediums, Warhound Titans that show up down here, and I've seen a few Reaver Titans show up. One guy's got a homemade Warlord, which is awesome. Yeah,
I've seen the photo of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that absolutely destroyed the table of stuff. It did lose a few void shields and a few hull points, and that's another thing I like. The big explosions, everything either dies or it doesn't die, and it's so much more fun.
Damo, this game sounds great. We should play it.
Well, you have been.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Damian,
I have been.
you suck.
Well done. Good work on the segue. Mate. Well done.
Good work, Damian. You suck.
Yeah. So I have indeed been playing 30k.
30K
I am now
the new
in
black.
30k is indeed the new black. Thanks, Pablo, for putting that up. I've traded in my Ultramarines for Word Bearers.
Did you sell your 8th edition army, or you still got it?
That's in the cupboard.
Oh, okay. You didn't really trade it. You just put it away.
I'm thinking about selling it.
I mean, I have a bunch of 8th edition stuff that's all unbuilt or Primaris, so I'm I could get rid of it. It's I don't really want it anymore. It's
you needed to sell it a year and a half ago. Actually, no, because Marines are coming back around to being the new shiny. So
they sure are, man. Iron Hands, yeah. Las Vegas Open, 1st and 2nd place.
Yep, first place. 2nd place was just Marines. I didn't see that there was.
I'm pretty sure they're Iron Hands. Iron Hands versus Iron. I don't know if it was 2nd place, but the last battle was between 2 Iron Hand players.
Well, that's crap.
Let's have a look. I'm just going to cheat. I'm just going to go to the thing and have a look, see what was the final list. Hang on. No, it was Richard Siegler's Iron Hand take on Brad Chess's Raven Guard successors.
Raven Guard.
So basically, the last 2 things to be released with a bit, it's typical Games Workshop. The latest shiny is the best.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm just having a look at the list now. So the Iron Hands. So this is going off the 30k segue a little bit, but the Iron Hands list. It's a battalion detachment with the HQ was 2 Chaplain Venerable Dreads.
Yep.
The troops were minimum intercessors. So that was the 1st battalion. The 2nd battalion was Iron Father with an Iron Father with a Primaris Lieutenant. Big intercessors, minimum intercessors, and an apothecary. Then there's a Spearhead detachment with a Venerable Dread, Eliminators, a Chaplain Venerable Dread again, Eliminators, and a Relic Leviathan Dread.
Yeah. So
what I thought was pretty funny is like they're using an out of production model, even though like because the Chaplin Dreadnought hasn't been in production for a while, and they're using the rules from it for it, and that kind of takes advantage of like who could afford to buy that, you know, like who bought it years ago and has just kept it in the cupboard. Now it's like, oh my god, it's awesome if I do this.
I'll run 3 of them.
It's like, come at me, Broseph. It's like, wow, so silly.
Yeah.
Whereas 30k, you can run an all Dreadnought army if you want. Sure, no dramas. But if you start losing, you start giving away victory points for every Dreadnought you lose.
Yeah.
So you gotta be kind of careful about that.
I'm just looking at the Raven Guard list as well, and it looks as though he's a battalion detachment with a smash captain.
Oh, and that's
and
another
a chaplain.
thing. That's another thing. All HQs are smash captains, and that's it.
143 points. Why wouldn't you?
It's all the same though. It's like, don't people get sick
know.
of repetitiveness?
I know. But then his troops were 3 minimum scout squads. Then he had an elite squad of Centurions with Hurricane Bolters and Flamers. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 2 squads of Centurions. Then heavy support of Centurion Devastators. Great.
Yep. Oh well,
Nobody cares about 8th edition anymore.
No, I kind of got turned off it when they were like, "This is the edition where you'll need less books," and then they promptly released more books and more books and more supplements. It's like, well, you know, maybe you don't.
And look, I think the bloke started. Well, it's really started, right?
It started a while back, but it's just going to get worse. So it's like, I'm just going to go play 30k. And the people in this country who play 30k seem to be far more relaxed and better people, and don't seem to be as hyper competitive as, you know, the current 40k stock. Apologies to you a-holes, you know who you are. But you know, I'll play 30k, sure. You can give me shit for it, but you know, I'm not the one spending thousands of dollars having to change out an army every 5 minutes because it's not the new black.
Yeah, the meta's changed, so I have to completely change.
Sell off and buy again. So it's like, you know, I don't mind. I play for fun. I went to a Whammer tournament, like that first 8th edition one. It's like, it was okay. It was fun because everyone was using indexes, so that was actually somewhat balanced.
It evened everything out because everybody was working off the same pretty shitty base.
Yeah, but there were still some glaring holes in those indices. You know, Gene Stealer Cults. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But that was that. But I moved away, and now I'm playing 30k, and it's pretty fun.
A lot of people up here are playing 30k now, so there's a really big 30k scene, and it's starting to be hosted out of TCAL actually, because the guys have sort of found that there's table space and there's people that are willing to play, and so I've got an army. Reed, you've got an army on the go. Caulfield's got an army. And then there's the regular 30k guys that have been playing around Auckland for ages. So we got like sort of 8 guys that are playing 30k at club.
Yeah, and first weekend of August down here, they hold an Invercargill Invasion tournament, which is pretty big for Invercargill. They have about 20 tables worth of 30k happening here.
It's massive.
Yeah, there's
you
also
get all the Christchurch guys coming down for it too, wouldn't you?
You do. Some of them are a bit competitive, but then that's Christchurch for you. They're competitive about everything.
Different strokes, different folks.
Except for sports ball. No, they love sports ball.
And they love sports ball, mate.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Something terrible, probably. I think there's a tournament coming up Easter weekend. I just have to make sure. Oh, yes, there's NatCon at the thing, and that's in Christchurch. And we're thinking about going to that for 30k.
They might as well go.
But then I could go for Flames of War. But then I read what Flames of War is, and I was like, ugh, just
who's running the Flames of War down in Christchurch?
I don't know, but it's based on the standard. All sorts of bollocks has to be done to it. It's like, ugh, no one's got time for that.
Is it escalation?
I think so. Let me check my.
Oh, I don't want this.
Let me check my emails. I like Flames of War. What the hell is this stuff? Oh, it's
Love
emails.
Flames of War.
Hang on. Let me just have a look at emails. Netcom player pack. All right. Oh God. Why is it 2 pages? Oh, see, this is what I hate about player packs.
Bloat.
Yeah. Anyway, me
So
and Clive,
reading you-
I went to the first club in ages. I was there last Sunday and I just sat down in my corner and did some painting. It was good.
Yeah. When are you actually going to play your first game of 30k?
When I get round to it.
With unpainted models, all the rest of us are.
Look, I'm just not able to commit to anything really. So I'm just trying to get my stuff painted when I can and then turn up, watch some games, seagull. Just actually getting out and getting about, it's pretty good.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. I had a game on, so we had club just on the weekend gone, and I've gone and I played against Caulfield. He's doing Imperial Fists and some really, really cool stuff that he's doing, and against my word bearers, and it was just an absolute slugfest. Like there was 10 Marines left on the table alive. That was it. Like I lost Lorgar and I lost pretty much all of my Marines except for a rotor cannon squad. And then everything else died. And it's just such a brutal game. It's amazing.
Die.
Yuck. Best history. You have to write a story about your army again.
Really?
That's me.
Copy it out of the Flames of War book.
No, you have to write. Yeah, just copy and paste. It's like, where's your story from? It's like copied it from Wayne, whoever wrote it. So I'm just trying to figure out does it tell me how many points the damn game is? This is like annoying. You guys keep
100.
talking. Is it 100? Is it? Okay.
I don't know.
Hang on. Questions. I don't need to ask questions. I need to know. Registrations. Oh no, Lance Knighton. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, no, thanks. Yikes. I don't know. No thanks. V4.
What else was played at club on Sunday?
Legion. So Legion is really kicking off there's probably about 10 of us playing Legion now.
There was a game of Battletech Warrior, Stompy Robot happening too. That's it. And
there was a game of Lord of the Rings as well. So Lord of the Rings is something that we're sort of getting into this year. There's a few guys that are playing it. I've got an Elf Force, Monkey's got a few armies like that. So a lot more niche games this year, apart from sort of Legion, which is getting pretty massive here in Auckland at the moment.
I think Legion's actually getting big as more and more people are finding their way to it. They're finding their way to it from Bolt Action. They're finding their way to it from 40k. They're finding their way to it from Flames of War. It's not like Legion is just taking a specific set of players. There's players from all sorts of different genres that are going to Legion.
Well, it's a relatively easy.
That's the draw card of the Star Wars banner, I guess, and especially if something's actually not crap. And Legion's not crap.
No. Like, you've got your net decking, you've got all the rest of it, people playing meta, and like Shore Troopers was a big thing, and then Dewbacks is a big thing. But the games are like fun. Like, I can rock up with, I'm painting my clones at the moment. I'm having an absolute ball painting them. My rebels are all painted. I've done them. They're ready to go. I might buy a few more things for them, but they're a ready to go force.
The only reason I'm not playing it is because I don't want to buy anything for it, so I'm not gonna. Other than that, I really enjoy watching the games being played and people playing them. I mean, Michael's hard case.
Same boat here. I haven't watched it properly. I've seen it played both in Auckland and down here. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm painting a unit, which, when I paint something, I'm like, ooh, interesting, me likey. And, I'm enjoying it. And it's like, it's okay. Yeah.
It's good. Like, it's a good game. Like, the rule set is pretty solid. They're doing regular updates and the rest of it if they need it, but they're releasing things. I think the only complaint that people are sort of having is that, typical FFG, they're sort of the architects of their own downfall because they're promising to have things in market and they're not coming out in time, so people are waiting and they're not getting it, and
Well, that's normal for
That's
Fantasy
okay.
Flight.
But that's
Always-
yeah, exactly.
always behind. I think it's 100 points late war, so
Yeah,
that's
but
what I find. It's like,
No
Yeah.
escalation league. It's just 100
no,
points
it's
straight
none
up.
of that other bollocks. So it's tempting.
No.
But
Hey, you should just go up and play 30k, mate.
I may do.
Play.
I may do.
I mean, how many points is it? Can you take Perturo Bowl and his
Mm.
transport big ass tank?
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's 3,001 points where I get to take that cheaty tank. The most games are under 3,000, so unfortunately I have to probably just take a Spartan instead or something just as obnoxious, or a Fellblade if I can squeeze it in, which I probably can. Fellblades are wonderful Titan destroying tanks.
Zanzibeta, I love.
I
my
did really
Spartan.
enjoy getting. Yeah, I did really enjoy getting back that second cestus off you, Greg. Thanks for that. The flying thing. So
Have you painted it
once I get round to painting, no, I've undercoated it. But once I get round to painting it, I might actually start thinking about playing because I can think of nothing better than just crashing two of them into stuff and then seeing what survives.
Yeah.
Oh,
fair
you're
enough.
inside there. Anybody alive? Let's go.
Oh, did you
that'd be
guys
cool.
know that someone from New Zealand won the at CanCon, that game
Sigma.
Age of Sigma? Yeah, I
Yep.
thought that was pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah, it's not bad, eh?
Yeah, it's funny. I was
Did he
like,
actually go over there from New Zealand, or has he been living there for
no,
a
he
while?
went over from New Zealand. A lot of them did.
There was a massive squad
that's
that went over.
Yeah, a big lot of them. It's funny to watch the videos because you can tell it's in Australia. It's in the middle of everything's burning season because they're all wearing singlets, or wearing black singlets. Their arms are out because it's just that hot.
Oh,
It's hot
ridiculous,
as
right?
hell.
But it's always hot and stinky at Canberra. When you look at every picture, I've never been there. Don't want to go because this looks too hot.
And this year it was worse. It was like 41 degrees. It was
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
and there was like a
ridiculous
fire
temperature.
near the airport or something like that. If I remember
Yeah.
reading correctly.
Yeah, there were
correctly,
problems
so-
with flights, and there was
Jeepers
all kinds of
creepers.
shit going on.
Oh dear.
It's pretty rough over there at the moment, unfortunately, which is not good for our Australian friends and family, of course.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's terrible for Australians. They lost everything, but that's what happens when you vote for a party that continues to burn coal and prioritise money over climate change. Oh well, sucks to be you guys. Anyway,
It's Greta.
that to me, it's all their fault, all Australia's fault, because
Oh.
they voted for this, and which is what I love. It's like every country has got the government they deserve because they didn't put enough.
We're not supposed to be talking about
Common
politics.
sense. Oh, that's right. Damn it. Anyway, enough talking about Australia's downfall. Yeah. So I see at my club a lot of Magic's played, and I avoid that because it's Magic, and they all seem to be face down in the cards, hardcore.
Yeah.
Gotta tap some lands or whatever they do.
But it also depends who you play with. I mean, I'm getting off my butt, and Greg and I are going to a barbecue this Sunday, and we're going to go play some Magic and
Maybe.
eat some sausage, and
Ma-
basically
That's
just hang out and play cards.
What we do is we go and have a hangout in some guy's garage while we have a model painting session. Back in the days when cool kids used to hang out and paint together. So
Oh, yeah?
that's what we all do. Sit down in someone's garage and paint some miniatures, talk shit and eat garbage. That's what we do. It's pretty fun. Says you do.
I like it.
Talk smack and drink.
And
some
that
energy
reminds
drinks.
me of when Monkey used to get me around to his house, and I sit there and paint, and he'd try and teach me to do anything other than what I normally do, and fail miserably.
Dry
And I'd always go
brush.
back to it.
I'm gonna dry
Yeah.
brush.
Oh, I didn't want to mention that, but
I love to dry brush.
Brush.
it's
Um,
valid.
It's okay then. Christians, yuck. Anyway,
Providence
it's
gratitude.
pretty
What's she up to
fun.
now?
who?
Providence gratitude.
I don't know. I'm not gonna.
You see Christians,
Yeah,
the one that escaped from Gloriavale.
No, I saw someone's. I looked at someone's
I
profile.
will
I looked at someone's profile on Facebook, and it's a terrible mistake. It's like
I will
oh,
obey.
you're a bit too much into the Jesus chat. Just calm your tits, bro.
Whoa.
Ah, no, this.
Oh,
I can't.
Hey, well, that's our club ramblings out of the way. How about we move on?
No, because I'm still talking about 30k.
He's still talking about 30k.
All right,
Damian.
you're still here, eh? Oh, okay. Go for it.
You know, club ramblings often turn into non-club ramblings. That's how it works. Because you got to save the best till last. What I was going to say, having a my club. Remember, I have a club too. Douchebags. So I go and I drink some beers because I can do that at my club. Did you know I can drink beer at my club? Can you guys do that? No. Okay, cool.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. It's against the rules. Read the rule. Shame.
No.
What is? They're playing the Song of Fire and Ice. That looked interesting, but it looked interesting, but I got closer and I was like, not my cup of tea. It was a bit weird. And Star Wars Legion. Still like look at that. Looking. I might get closer to a game and actually see how it works and see if I'm interested. But
from where I was sitting on. Sorry, Greg, I'll just butt in here because I'm gonna.
Not too bad.
On Sunday, what I did see for the Legion game, it was just cracking me up. Daryl had his Count Doodoo zipping down the left flank against Michael's Empire, and he took Krennic, and he's just all he does is moan that Krennic sucks, and he keeps making mistakes with him, and so Doodoo just marched on down, annihilated a whole batch of stormtroopers, and chased poor old Krennic around the board, but it looked really good. Doodoo was unstoppable.
Sorry,
Yet another time I
watched. I forgot what button the bois were on.
Yet another time I saw Doodoo playing, and Doodoo got wiped out in one turn. And so it happens. That sort of stuff happens. You can't. It doesn't seem like you can meta up on a character and get them to win everything, because if the other dude's actually onto it, you can counter it. There's a chance for anything to counter it. I like that. But not enough for me to start playing it because I don't want another system.
I played that boats game. That was fun.
Then what flavor are you going to play if you play? Stormtroopers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Black Seas. I was talking about Black Seas. Not... Oh yeah, I'd play Stormtroopers if I played that, because I don't like painting rebels because they're too there's too much stuff on them, and I can be like Stormtroopers, like everybody's white. It's like Snowtroopers, everybody's white with a cloak. Shore Troopers, everybody's brown. It's like
Death Troopers, everybody's bleak.
Shiny black. Don't forget, it's so shiny.
And with weird voices.
Yeah, I don't know why they have their super encrypted comm thing. That's weird. To seem extra scary, I suppose. And or those red guys.
That's troopers.
No, the red ones. I don't know what they're called. I don't think they're called troopers.
Emperor's Guard.
Yeah, that's them. Whatever they are. But no, I was talking about Black Seas and how I rushed to get into that, and I was like, it's kind of fun. I'm gonna paint them all. I'm gonna paint them all up like pirate ships because that's cool. I've already got one under. I've started doing the rigging. Oh my god! Talk about wanting to murder yourself. Holy shit! Rigging is mental, but not as mental as the people who do it on all the ones in a bottle. I have a new appreciation for them. Also, don't use super glue accelerator because it makes stains on your painted miniatures, which is not.
It does.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thanks, guys. But yeah, I'm painting those up slowly, but I've put them away because I have other priorities, which is priority one is finishing the Shore Troopers for someone and making a video for the YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Good.
And putting together an...
Those Shore Troopers, you basically just stole off the dude to paint. You're going to give them back to him.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Well, I was only wanted to paint one, but it's would be unfair for him to have just one that looks different from the others. And I was like, I can do that. I just need it for a video. I actually want to do Stormtroopers. And he's like, I don't have any Stormtroopers, but I have some Shore Troopers. And he's like, there's only one video on the moment. I was like, ooh, only one? And it's hand painted. I was like, ooh, I can do an airbrush one, which was cool and is going to happen probably tomorrow or the weekend, depending how tired I am. And after that, I got to put together and paint a freaking Thunderhawk.
Cool. Who got the Thunderhawk? Did your brother get it?
Who do you think?
Brother.
Is it Darren?
Yes.
Darren got the Thunderhawk.
Yes.
Oh god, the postage on that thing up to Auckland's going to be insane.
Darren's?
Yeah.
Or Josh's?
Yes. No, Darren's got it. It's about Jeepers, that's about 4 or 5 kgs worth of resin there. That's
and the
it's a
size
heavy-
once you've assembled it, and then you've got to package it up so it doesn't break.
I'm gonna magnetize the wings so that they can pop off.
Cool.
Why not just do it sections and then send it up to him and get him to glue the sections to? Oh no!
Oh yeah. It's like, hey, it's painted now. Assemble it yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Assembly is the hard part. I watched a YouTube video on someone who built one and put one together, and he's like going through and he's like, and this is where I had to reinforce with rod, and I reinforced with rod here and here and here and here, and the landing gears had to have reinforcement rods put in them because apparently the landing gear starts to sag because you've got all that weight on resin and it begins to bend. And he had a 18mm Perspex like flight stand buried in what looked like 2 kgs of some sort of concrete and plaster mix.
You'd have to
flight stand. The flight stands have to be bulky as, so it's gonna be
My
so much
sister's-
fun. So much fun.
Even my sister's assault rams with the flight stands that I've got for them, I'm not even sure I'm going to put them on the flight stand because I'm just looking at it thinking I could glue this sucker in. Is it going to balance and is it going to fall off? Because it's heavy.
Well,
I just say it's hovering. It's already crashed.
yeah, I haven't dealt with a model. I haven't dealt with a model this big, ever. I don't think. I think this is probably going to be the biggest thing I've ever built and painted. So it's going to be an experiment. So I think the biggest thing I ever built so far, model wise, it's going to have to probably be like probably a 1/35 scale airplane of some kind, maybe.
Yeah.
That's about as big as I'd get it.
Thunderhawk
thinking-
run in
Pardon?
run in 30k. I can't even it. Must be ridiculous.
What, points wise?
Oh.
Hang on. Let me check. You guys keep talking about what you did and what you're excited to see in the world of Warcraft.
We did it already.
Oh, well, and I'll bust open Battle Scribe and I'll have a look how much Thunderhawk costs price wise.
Just reading the book.
Open roster, new roster. Oh, shut up, computer. Yeah, so you know that Thunderhawk is a big bad boy, so it's gonna be fun to stick together. But I know how many points it's gonna cost you, and it's not gonna be great for you guys.
And it's not the Thunderhawk transporter, it's the Thunderhawk.
And
Won't be a moment.
That's cool. Take your time.
No worries. You guys
Yeah,
just
I got
keep
all
talking shit. Well, keep talking about something instead of wasting my time when I'm trying to do other things.
Hey, was that that robot that you were talking about before for the Iron Hands?
No,
The Iron
I'm
Hands?
Warriors.
Iron Warriors, not the Iron Hands. Never mind. Carry on.
Correct. Let me find it. Traitor Iron Warriors. What's Iron Warriors number? Oh, chapter number 4. They are called the Iron Circle Domitor Ferrum class Battle Automata Manipul.
There you go. That's what I said.
Exactly what you said.
Yeah, those fellas that are tuned into Perturbo and follow him around.
Correctamundo.
He's never going to be as cool as Lorca. Just saying.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
won.
Thunderhawk gunship is
Yes.
685 points. It's a Lord of War.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be.
So let's have a look at its bollocks.
I want to look at its bollocks.
So 685
You can only
points.
You can only take a Lord of War if you take 3,000 points,
3,000 or over, unless you tinker and have a thing where your
Weird stuff.
Primarch counts as an HQ.
Do Primarch's chosen as your right of war.
Yeah, correct. And
You get a Primarch and a Lord of War.
No, you can take a
that right?
Primarch as a HQ choice, and it doesn't count as a Lord of War.
so, you can
So
take-
then you can take a Lord of War. That's what I
Yes.
said.
No,
Well,
you can take
no.
a Primarch as an HQ, not a Lord of War as an HQ. Otherwise,
That's what I said. You can take a Primarch as your HQ and you get a Lord of War.
yes.
You don't. You get a Primarch.
Oh my god. Anyway, Thunderhawk Gunships only 12, 12, 10. That's interesting.
But how many hull points has it got?
Where it doesn't actually say, but I imagine it would be a shouldn't be Tim. Oh, hull points has 9. There you go.
Oh,
So it's going to be hard to shoot out the sky in one go.
The shields.
get
Or
into
is it
radio.
just adamantium armor?
Let's see. Flyer, vehicle, transport, Lord of War, armored ceramite, so no melters for you. Machine spirit, twin linked, unshakable nerve. You can give it a flare shield, which makes it hard to be shot at.
Armored 16.
That's an assault vehicle too. Oh, that's great. So you can assault when you disembark. It has a las cannon, but how many las cannons does it have?
But you can only assault if it doesn't travel like flat out. You can't go flat out and then assault.
What's its movement?
Back.
Movement's not displayed on this, but I imagine it can go pretty far. So assault vehicle. Passengers disembarking from points in this vehicle with a special rule can charge on the turn they do, even if the vehicle was destroyed at the following turn, unless the vehicle arrived from reserve. Twin-linked weapons, so it has a lot of twin-linked stuff. So it's got las cannons under each wing, as you know, they're standard. Pretty good guns. It's got twin-linked heavy bolters. I think it's got those under each wing as well.
Something out the front?
It's got a Thunderhawk cannon, which is a 72-inch battle cannon, basically. Hang on, never mind. It does a 7-inch blast, so it's a massive blast. It's like a lemon rush shooting you, but extra big. And then for shits and gigs, you can replace all 6 Hellstrike missiles, which are basically a crack missile with 72 inches range. Oh, and it has Sunder, which means you can re-roll failed armor pen rolls, which is great. And they're one shot, but you can replace those.
No, it's not failed armor pens. Don't you re-roll your? Isn't that re-rolling on the destruction chart?
No, re-roll failed armor penetration rolls.
All right.
Cluster. You can replace it with 6 cluster bombs. They're not as good. They're strength 6, AP 4, heavy 1. However,
you're flying over some plebs and then you just go yoit.
Yeah, but they do an apocalyptic barrage, so I imagine that's quite large. Yeah. That's let's see. What does it say? It says bombing run. You can elect to have the Thunderhawk drop 1 heavy bomb cluster per bombing run. The Thunderhawk has enough bombs to do this 3 times over the course of a game.
Jesus.
So it's like, I'm just going to take care of this part of the table. Strength 6, so that means it's 2 above your toughness, so that wounds on 2s in this in 7th edition, if I remember correctly. It's AP 4, so it's not great, but
That doesn't kill Marines.
bombs away. Marines will still get the 3+ save, but it's an apocalyptic barrage, so if you catch people unaware... Hey, cool, you can switch out the Thunderhawk cannon for a turbo laser destructor.
Good.
Oh, that's just a strength D, AP2, 96-inch range D weapon. You're dead.
Good luck hiding from that.
Mm-hmm. Armored cockpit. Crew can ignore stunned on a shaken. Chaff launcher. Chaff launcher does what? Gains a 4-up and vulnerable against damage caused by missile weapons. Cool.
Good.
Flare shield. What does that do?
It makes it front armor 16.
Flare shield operates against shooting attacks in the vehicle's front end. It reduces the strength of attacks by -2.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Template and blast wounds by 2 and minus shooting attacks by 1 strength, which is kind of cool. Has no effects on attacks from close combat or destroyer rule, although what you're doing on the ground, big mistake. Ramjet diffraction grid. What the? Oh my god, this is worse. Reduce the strength.
But it's got all the rules.
Reduce the strength of incoming shooting attacks from the side and rear armor by 1, but may never benefit from cover saves due to night fighting because you're mucking around with your thing. And wait for it, the last thing is void crafted hull. Increase rear armor value to 12 and -1 on the strength of your weapon with the ramjet grid. So you can pump this thing up to be quite nasty, by the sound of things. So.
Survivable, so it gets to where it needs to be in 1 turn and then drop off its load.
Yeah,
and then go yo, and then fly around and drop bombs.
Let's see. We can drop out 30 models, so 30 Marines.
Dreadnought and 20 dudes.
Dreadnought and 20 dudes may carry Legion Dreadnought, counting as 10 models each. Jump infantry and bikes. and they can all assault out of it because it's an assault ship. So, you know, it's pretty good, but it costs 685 points base without any extra stuff on it.
Could crank it up to about 1,000 points.
You could with all the add-ons.
Yeah, I don't know if you get it that high because it's got all like it's that high because it's got flare shields built in. It's got armored serum built in.
It doesn't have the flare shields built in. You got to pay for those. I think.
Oh, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, it's only.
What's that like? 35 points.
Yeah, right about that. So you're already over 700 points of that. It's interesting. It's one of those big units. Like I watched the on Facebook. I saw the pictures from the Australian. I think it was at CanCon as well. They were playing 30k there. And they had some amazingly painted armies, and every army had like dudes. And what I like about 30k, I'm going to mention every army has a weenie. You know, a weenie. Like that's what I look for whenever someone hands me a list army. I'm like, where's the weenie? You know, where's that core unit? Where's that anchor unit? Where's your gotcha? Where's your big giant F-off vehicle? That's what I see. It's like when people hand me an army, and it's like I've got all these things. Like for Flame Sword, it's like I've got all these things, and it's like where's like the one I was reading tonight for, I think it was the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division. I was like, where's the weenie? And the weenie was 4-pack 40 guns. I was like, ooh, well, you're just going to get bombarded once by mortars and that's it, bud. And, you know, but if it had some tigers in there, I was like, oh, a bit more scary, but it wasn't that scary.
That's why when I decided that I was going to play 30k, and I thought, okay, what unit am I going to use that's going to draw all the fire and let everything else slip through? And that's my 20-man squad of jump marines, because they're just going to go straight up the guts, hard out first turn. Just go boys. If there's anybody left alive, that's a bonus.
Go straight up the guts. That literally sounds like every single game you play ever. Go straight up the guts.
You got to have one unit to do that.
Oh, except that time you played a defensive army and you're like, look, I'm defending with tank turrets built into the ground that you can't shoot until you're next to me. You know.
Well, that was funny.
Your douche army. Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. Nobody else did it. Nobody else would even think of taking that to a tournament. I did.
Because play the sound.
Oh, hang on. Which sound are we going to give Damian? Oh, Jesus. That was not the sound.
Show them the sound and we go to part 3. We're gone.
What are you doing?
There it is. Sad noises. Anyway.
Hey, wait. I haven't been able to talk about my word bearers because
but nobody wants to listen to your word bearers.
Dude,
they suck.
They suck. They're so boring. Like, and I was telling you know, Greg. I was not at all surprised. Like, I literally thought, like, the guys in Auckland want to pay 30k. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, I bet you 100% that Greg is gonna be boring and choose word bearers.
Fucking cool.
Nah, if you think about it, your leader is a whiny bitch.
Oh,
who's obsessed with like religion and stuff and making his dad.
And he did save Angron. Come on, man, he did save Angron. That was pretty cool.
From being stomped on. No, hang on.
That was pretty cool.
Didn't Angron save him from being stomped on?
Oh, he saved Angron from. First off, then he got blasted. Then Angron went my brother and then saved him. So they saved each other.
Rude. Still, bit unhinged. But yeah, I didn't. Yeah, Greg. Poor choices were made. Yeah. Man. It's basically the army is like I've got daddy issues. So I was like, congrats, Greg. Good one.
Anyway, I've got Erebus and Corfaron on the way at the moment. So looking forward to painting those boys.
Where's the there it is. I was trying to find a tumbleweed song, but you know. Anyway, that ends part 2. Join us in part 3. We're gonna shit on something else that you love or don't. I don't care. Back in a minute. Your mum. Dice of War. Dice of War supply custom and historical wargaming dice and accessories. Unique designs to suit your gaming requirements. Visit the online store today at diceofwar.com.au. Hello and welcome back to part 3 of our insanely long Welcome Back episode 58. Here tonight in the meat and taters section. This is where we talk about subjects that dash a bit of controversy, spark a bit of intrigue. So recently, as you 40k players are probably aware, and you hyper-competitive nerds are probably even more aware, and you smelly 40k Cabal losers are getting the jump on you today.
Talking to you, Bartosz.
Yeah, dork. Thanks for highlighting a post for me to read so I don't have to actually do any real research. So recently, the last couple of days, European Team Championships is a multi-event competition. 40k, Flames of War, Age of Sigma, other things. Bolt Action, I think, is there. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention.
So, yeah.
Anyway, so it's a massive worldwide event. People from around the world gather their teams, go play the games, and all that jazz. And it's usually hosted somewhere in Europe, hence the name. But it has made it, I think it went to Australia once, and it went to the United States 1 or 2 times. So, European Team Championships, but each year it's in some random European place. I think this year or last year it was in Luxembourg. At one point
Next year it's in Luxembourg. This year was Serbia, I think.
Serbia. All the places that, were bombed at some point. By someone. I don't know. Everyone's except Luxembourg. Luxembourg was a bit, compliant. What's the word when you what's the C word? A bit collaborative. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, I'm shitting on people at the moment. We're gonna lose all our listeners from Luxembourg. It's like, oof.
Really?
It's like, I am not a Nazi. Just because we're over the road from Germany doesn't make us. Anyway,
Over the road from France as well.
What?
They're over the road from France as well.
Oh, yeah, but does that make them lazy? Anyway, do they get to retire at like age 12? It's like, I've worked too hard. I must go to lunch now and have a 4-hour sleep.
There you go. There you go. French audience.
Yeah, bonjour. Anyway, so 40k is decided to split away from the ETC. And this guy on Project Aquila explained why. So I'll try and read some of it. I'm not going to go away with the who am I. It's like he's some team captain of Team Scotland. He's been to a few ETCs. He's been head referee, TO, player captain, etc. So as I said before, ETC is a multi-system tournament. It's grown since 2007. And what's essentially, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I said I was threatening the guys to read this and put them to sleep because it's pages and pages and pages of stuff. What it is it basically says ETC is not responsible nor will get involved with any team's internal organization selections. So basically, a captain is a captain until he decides not to be a captain anymore, so it's a dictatorship. Then those captains choose where the next ETC is going to go, and each ETC is run in its location by a team of people. And the reason that the 40k is leaving is the lack of control. Because it says for an event that is meant to be by the players for the players, collectively outside of collectively writing the rules pack and missions, the 40k players, referees, and TOs have actually very little to zero control over their tournament. So how it works is the tournament is set by the people actually running it in the country at the time, and the big issue is for the 40k players was terrain, and terrain is usually not acceptable and it's not good enough. And you've all seen ETCs around the road. The first thing you see any bitching about is terrain, and it's garbage. And 40k needs a lot of line of sight actual blocking terrain now, because if you can see anything, you can see it, you can charge it, kind of deal. He mentions one time in one country that there was not enough toilet paper at one of the events, so they had to go and provide, TP for the people to use. He had to go and buy toilet paper for the teams to use.
Ridiculous, right?
Because there's some countries where the organisers are just there to blatantly make fat stacks of cash. So the 40k, which probably is the biggest system there, has decided that it's going to break away, be more controlled by them. Yeah, the ETC charter, that's what it is. It's a bit weird. It says here, the ETC is restricted and controlled by the aforementioned charter, and that any exceptional change requires either the chairman's approval and or majority vote of all the systems, not just the system that wants to make a change exception for itself only. So that means whoever sits on the Flames of War board has to agree to changes that can be made to the 40k board. And, you know, they can't even, the 40k team can't even allow a United Nations team, which is, you know, just what in Flames of War I think they call mercenary teams, just made up of different countries.
Something like that. If they've got like odd numbers or something like that.
Odd numbers, or a bunch of people, they wanted to have a Greater China or a Greater Asian or Greater Asia team. You know, and they were like, no, I can't do that because the charter says one team per country. You know, and Greater Asia is not a country.
No.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. So they've broken away, which means ETC will probably lose a lot of money. Chances are, I like his analogy is basically, it's like saying baseball should decide the rules for football.
Yeah. Love it, eh?
That was my Flames of War should control the rules for 40k. So same thing, but that's more analogy to sports listeners. I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, terrain is a big argument in this conversation. They wanted to make tables that were lots of terrain, medium amounts of terrain, low terrain, things like that. So they have a mix of tables. They wanted consistency and standardization. Oh my god. But
kind of like ITC type stuff.
ITCs type stuff, whatever that is. What's ITC again?
I don't know.
Oh, well, don't talk about it if you don't know what it
The American
means.
thing.
That's the one with the unpainted polystyrene blocks.
Are you sure?
It's just
I
where
don't know, I'm just making shit up.
Yeah,
okay.
shut up. Yeah, it looks as though like they came up with great ideas, and then the people in Luxembourg ignored it and decided to go with 3D printing terrain. Yeah, so big rant, yada yada yada. A lot of them are voting to leave. 90% of teams, 90% of 40k teams that voted to leave, with 70% of them voting to leave now.
So next ETC in Luxembourg will not have 40k. It'll be a different event.
So when someone writes that this is a coup done behind closed doors, no validity whatsoever, as you know, how does 90% of the 40k constitute anything other than true and free exercise of democracy where 40k has decided to take control of its own destiny? Saddens the guy that comes to this juncture after 11 years and hundreds of thousands of hours and tens of thousands of euros I invested in the ETC. The years would never happen if I didn't think it wasn't something special, but at the end of the day, loves 40k community, yada yada yada, ETC, blah 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 blah. So basically they're leaving, so they're split off, so they're going to go form their own little thing. And do you think it is, looking at that, it seems to be because of the inflexibility of ETC to adapt to differing systems? And
So
this is one of the things, like ETC, right? And this is the thing, like ETC wants players, like people to control it and people to run it, but they don't want the companies like Games Workshop, and I know Battlefront as well. They don't want them there kind of running their thing because it's for the players by the players. But they seem to have got themselves into a point where they are inflexible towards other systems. So do you think that, because I absolutely hate world championships, because these world championships, Las Vegas Open, they bring out the worst in everyone. It's usually and Masters events, is, you know, it's like not my cup of tea. It's like, you know, it's the worst, the cheesiest of lists. You know, there's no real incentive to like have painted good armies or play like a nice person. It's just play as hard as you can to win as hard as you can. I mean, sure, if this was a sports ball,
I was like, the questions you see is like, do I have to have a painted army? I've just bought this army. I want to use it. Do I have to paint it? Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to get rid of it later.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, but as you can see there, they left. What's to stop the Flames War now going, well, Are they happy as well? Who controls that? Are the team captains from that going to be like, ooh, well, if Warhammer's leaving, what should we do? Should we just leave and form our own little breakaway group? Is it popular enough to do that? Same with Age of Sigma. I'm just surprised Age of Sigma hasn't done that as well. But when you look at Age of Sigma, it's like it's kind of like fantasy. You don't need that much terrain to start with usually to play a game, and most of the time they're carting around their own scenery. It's part of their army list.
So what it sounds like to me is that the major gripe is that nobody really gets a say in how anything is run except for the country that's organising it and the ETC chairman. So I think the solution to the problem could be that each system has a chairman who has to work closely with the players in order to figure out what's going to happen. Now that might mean that they've got to talk to the people who have won the bid, the people from the country that have won the bid, and there has to be some accountability in terms of where the money's going and the terrain and all the rest of it in terms of suitability. But, I mean, those are pretty easy things to sort out. The fact that it's gotten to the point where a whole system has gone, you know what, guys, we can't deal with this anymore, we're out, there's got to be some serious problems there.
Yep. It looks, to me, it looks like they've had it for a while, and looking at pictures of certain events, if people are going to pay like the amount of money like for these events, and a lot of, especially if it's a world event, because these people aren't traveling for a short distance away. You've got people from the US, you've got people from Australasia, they're all coming in, and nothing in Europe is cheap. We all know that. Man. It's all in euros, which is like double everyone's dollar or money version. If you're from a poorer country, it's 10 times that amount. And you show up there and they're running substandard terrain, bright green, goblin green tabletops. I mean,
hey,
there's a guy here, right? And in the picture, the same thing. Some Russianish dude, I don't know. He's playing on some of the book style terrain, where you put two books together and you open a book, and that's terrain. But it's grey painted cardboard. Imagine I paid however many thousands of dollars to get to wherever the fuck Luxembourg is, and I rock up. I got my beautifully painted army because I'm not gonna rock up with grey plastic or minimum 3 colours, and I get there and boom, I've got a goblin green chalkboard painted thing in front of me, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bits of grey cardboard that look the same. A couple of walls that won't stop anything in 40k because you can probably see someone's head over it. It's like, where's the motivation to play? I mean, is it all hardcore gamers? They just ignore terrain and just see, winning is the objective, or do you want to go there and think that you've paid enough money for it? If you're a professional sports person, don't they get to go to pretty looking fields? They don't have to pay on garbage. I mean, is this not the same as what they are? They're kind of like ETCs. Aren't you sending the best of the best over there? Wouldn't you expect to play on the best? I'm talking every event should have, those rubber mats. What are they called?
Ribbon mats.
The rollout ones. The oh god.
But everybody enjoys playing on stock standard tables with exactly the same terrain.
Who does?
Then you can plan ahead and you can actually make sure that it's all, what's going to happen. So you can just plan for it and do it. You must have the same terrain on every table.
But that's boring and repetitive. Why would you ever do that?
That removes my immersion in the game.
Yeah. That's one of the things. That's the reason we play war games, is because we want immersion. I mean, some people play it only to win. I mean, those people are weird,
Great. They can play on terrain with grey polystyrene because, like, the whole idea is.
It is nice to win. I don't win very often, but when I do, it's bloody good.
Yeah, totally. But you want to win knowing that you've gone in there and thought about your battle plan not 16 weeks beforehand, because you know exactly how the terrain's going to be stacked out.
Oh, hang on. Project Aquila is a successor event of Warhammer 40,000 after it's... So Project Aquila is the name of what it's going to be.
ETC.
Yeah. The new ETC people.
Yeah.
All right, I get what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd like to see them put now that it's split off. I'd like to see them have oh god, what's that? What's the European, the people who make the rubber mats? What is their name?
GameMat.eu.
GameMat.eu. So I'd like to see them.
Rubber mats.
No, shut up, Damian. I'd like to see
Hi,
them
turtles.
get enough mats from GameMat.eu or whoever it is to support this event, so that at least it looks nice. And whoever makes terrain, also get them. So, but the thing with it, if they're going to move around the world, which I suggest they don't, this whole moving from country to country, it's great if you want to visit a country, but if you're going to play Toy Soldiers for 2 days or however long it is, you're not going to see much of the country. Save your money to go on a trip to Luxembourg. Put it at a centralized hub and insert country here, not the United Kingdom, and store it.
But not the London GT.
Oh, that's just as bad. Store all the place, centralized location, store everything, bring it out that once a year, charge people what it costs to cover the prizes, your hireage of whatever hall, and your storage for the year, and boom, money and something to make profit on.
If you want to make profit.
Well, that don't you? I mean, those people are taking all the risk. Project Aquila, it's all on them. It's all on their shoulders. But if you start moving it around the Europe or the world, whatever you're trying to do, it's just going to incur more cost, more time, and you'll just become ETC again. I hate moving things. It's ridiculous. Stick to one place, deal with it. People can plan for it. I mean, when I say that, and NatCon moves around New Zealand all the time, but I can't remember the last time I went to a NatCon. I think it was in Tauranga, like years and years ago.
I think I've ever been to one. Now that I think about it.
The only NatCon I've been to was the one in 2003.
Oh, here we
all know what happened then. So, I don't need to go to any more. I just thought I'd pop that in there.
As
Wanted to get involved.
Player in the country 2003.
do. Yeah.
So I won a dice roll.
But then New Zealand's small. It's easy to get to for us.
Yeah, like moving it from city to city is fine because like each city is at least maximum 3 hours away from each other.
Well,
by plane.
Oh yes, by plane. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. 2 planes sometimes.
2003. That's like 17 years ago now.
Thanks,
Holy crap.
Granddad. You can do maths.
It's all right.
Your kids will be proud. Yeah. So that's like, oh my god, what we forgot to talk about? Version 3 of like Kings of War. But that's all right. I hear that's going good, except for War Machines. Anyway,
I haven't played or read the rules for version 3 yet. I haven't got round to it yet. It's still high on my list of things to do because it's still one of my favorite games.
Yep. Well, you should get the 3rd version. Anyway, enough talking about that. But yeah, for me, I think if they want to succeed, to me, sit still, don't go anywhere. And for the other games, I mean, the other captains of the other game systems? Look at what 40k did. Are you big enough and strong enough to break away from the ETC, from the dictatorial clutches, of their apparently inflexible overlords?
Where has my cheese gone?
Yes, exactly. Who moved my cheese? Are you happy where you are?
Move my cheese.
Can you deal with change?
What's it going to mean for the New Zealand 40k ETC team?
No idea.
It means they'll probably have to be part of. That? What do you mean? Isn't that the whole Pete Dunne thing where you choose the best people from the team and then those teams get to go part of the?
Okay.
Blah. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
I'm actually not sure what's going on there, But because 40k tournaments are getting set up now to go ITC, so
there's certain
anyway.
ones are. Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me looking at it that every tournament will have a ITC flavor because the people that want to play ITC all the time will keep hammering that it should be used for ITC rankings or whatever.
ITC is,
to me, that's how it's going to go. I don't know.
Man.
Am I
ITC
mumbling?
is what they use in the States. Like LVO's run under ITC. So ITC is Independent Tournament Circle, Frontline Gaming, that runs LVO. It's their thing, I guess.
And it's a very specific rule set. I mean, I actually sat down and tried to read it once and gave up.
It just sort of standardizes the way that the tournaments are going to be played, so that you sort of, I guess, everybody's playing on a level playing field as such.
So you're saying every tournament's the same and will run the same kind of way, so that when it comes to the finals tournament of the year or whatever, is
it's
like the
too
Masters.
rigid.
Too rigid for the guy who didn't finish reading all the rules. Interesting.
I found it too rigid. I just looked at it. I mean, like,
Oh, hang on, I found NZITC.
I don't operate like that. To me, it's really unappealing having knowing, okay, I'm going to go to this tournament here. There's nothing different when I go to this tournament here. When I go to this tournament here. Now I know people out there really enjoy it, and they can plan ahead and stuff like that. I like just throwing everything on the table and going, let's try it. Yeah, let's do this. That looks like fun. Let's do it. It doesn't lend itself to the way I think, so I've got absolutely no compunction or feeling whatsoever to even go to one.
Okay.
You know, I don't even want to go and watch one. Is that bad? I mean, I've watched a YouTube vid of ITC a little bit, but it doesn't grab me. It doesn't twist my nips.
Doesn't twist.
Hey,
So
I found the PDF for the
New Zealand one.
Yeah, I stopped reading that. I found the entry form and stuff for the 30k stuff at NatCon. I'm more interested in that, but yeah, got sidetracked and stopped caring. That sounds like me. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that they broke away. It looks like, because that'll lose them a bunch of money too. So.
And that's a huge thing, man. Just to have the whole lot. I mean, it's not like only a little subsection broke away. The whole damn lot just went. We're out. They just Brexited it in less time it took for Boris Johnson to wipe his ass.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
You leave Boris alone.
Okay. Okay.
So it looks like there's I finally found the NatCon website, which is actually called natcon2020.org.nz. They got ADLG. I can't remember what that is, but there's no player
Delegator.
Yep. No player pack. Age of Sigma, Bolt Action, Flames of War, Horus Heresy, Napoleonics, Warhammer 40k, and War Machine and Hordes. People are still playing that? Wow.
Well, Hordes, yeah. Version 3, there's heaps of them playing in Wellington.
Oh, okay, of course they are. Oh, they're playing Fog N. Field of Glory Napoleonics.
It'll be version 2 that the guys from the North Shore Wargaming Club
It is the
have been
second edition. Oh no!
working
Is that
on.
the one? Is that the one that Nosferatu plays and goes? Oh,
Yeah.
you should be playing this all the time. I'm going to paint my hats.
I'll have you know, I've played Fog in version 2. Thank you very much.
Oh well, it's on in Christchurch at Easter, so pop on down when you
We've got an army.
when you want to go.
It'll probably go down. He's got family down that way.
Flames of
Yeah, you
War.
could do.
The thing I don't like about the Flames of War is it's got the longest set of bloody rules and instructions about how things are going to work. Oh my lord! Oh, and the missions are already set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you're starting to sound like me.
Okay, so you can't choose your bloody. Hang on, is this the latest entry form? I'm reading the old one.
That sounds like the right one.
That annoys the piss out of me.
Yeah.
Mission, attacker, defender. Mission is established, and the mission, attacker, defender, and mission is established, and the decision maker has selected deployment as object. That's so annoying. The table terrain definitions will have been established by whom? Hopefully by the rules
the tournament organizer.
No, they're by the book, bruh.
Well, that too.
See, this is why I don't want to play Flames War. There's too many bloody rules at that event. Like, who puts just common sense? Don't be a dick. To that end.
Mm-hmm.
Must we? Like, I come to the Horus Heresy one, and it's, you know what it says? Day 1, 1750 point crusade. There will be a battlefield for Zone Mortalis on day 1, so be sure to have a second name of this Memphis. Day 1, 9 p.m. start, 12 o'clock lunch, 5 p.m. finish. Day 2, Crusade, which is 3,000 points. 9:30 start, 12 o'clock lunch, 5 p.m. go home. You can also play Adeptus Titanicus at 1,500 points, 1,750 points if you're crazy.
It's on day 3, right?
I think that's on day 3 because I think they got the thing a bit skewed there. There is an option for either Adeptus Titanicus or Horus Heresy on day 2. Well, it's in there too. Day 3 is 3 plays, so you don't go on day 3. But yeah, that's simple. Done. And look, well, it actually says list submissions must be emailed to me before 3rd, 4th the 20. Army must be fully painted. The don't be a dick rule applies. That's literally written there. That's all they had to write for every other list. Instead, I get 11 pages of bloody waffle and shit. I don't get to choose missions. So
It's easy.
ugh, I don't understand people.
Play 30k.
Yeah, maybe, probably, more than likely. Oh, it's bold action, but I don't think anyone plays that.
Go play 30k. You know you want it.
Yeah, probably play that.
You'll be able to drag your brother up for it.
Oh, nah.
When is it?
Easter.
I'll get away with that one.
Friday 10th to Sunday 12th.
I think I'll get away with that one.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, words. It's good to be back. It's good to be podcasting again. Everyone who's listened so far, thank you for sticking around. We know it devolved into a rant because we don't really know anything about the ET scene. None of us ever gone. None of us ever hyper competitive or competed in any event. We're not.
I just want to play Toy Soldiers just for fun.
That's all we do. We paint toys, play and paint
But
toy
look,
soldiers for fun.
Fair play to those guys who either choose ETC or ITC or HETC off Magnum PI, whatever.
Well, they eat it from home.
They're Elliot.
Touch my lying finger.
But yeah, fair play to those guys. I mean, they'll love it and they'll keep playing it.
Yeah, it's a different mindset. We're casual as gamers. That's what we'll always be. Sometimes we'll go to tournaments, but mostly because it's just to catch up and play the game. Sometimes we accidentally win or come in place, which we've all done by accident.
I'm just looking at my time.
Sometimes you accidentally grudge match somebody and then get wasted, eh, Dan?
Yeah, but that happens, eh? Just let you have the win, so I build you up so that everyone you have to play after this absolutely curb stomps you.
Was the only win I had.
It's so funny. Dumb. Anyway, I think
great.
that's been a wonderful episode 58. It's great to have you all back. Blah blah blah, etc. Applications.
Time will be more organised because Dan will make
lies.
right up the list.
Yep. So gonna have another episode in say a fortnight's time. This time we'll be way more organised. We won't just ramble on about how we hate this, but we like what they've done and they've done a great job, but we don't actually know what we're talking about. Kind of episode, but it'll be slightly more organised. Press X to doubt.
I mean, since we haven't done one since August, that wasn't bad.
That was we're putting some good filler in there and trying not to and ah, but it's mostly talking bullshit. And tell me a point in any one of our podcasts where we have not gone off topic.
Can't remember.
Pretty sure the only time we don't go off topic is when I write the questions down for someone I'm interviewing.
That was like the first 3 episodes, and that was it.
Yeah, and then it was like, I'm scared to talk to people. Now it's like, yeah, what do you want? It's like, what's your favorite ice cream? It's like, aren't we supposed to talk about tanks? But yes, ice cream is more important. Tell me now. Are you a hokey pokey man or a goody goody gumdrops man? Explain. Kind of person.
Orange chocolate chip.
Orange chocolate chip. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Orange chocolate chip, man. Or rum and raisin.
Oh.
Chocolate dipped. Oh yeah.
Now you get us all hungry for ice cream.
Anyway,
tell us in the comments what your favorite ice cream is, and
Orange
you'll win
chocolate chip.
a 2-liter bucket of ice cream from Damian. He'll bring it to your house if you like the same one he likes the most. Anyway, that's it. Remember, like, subscribe, follow if you're following on the Podbean. Tell us what you'd like to see Damian or Greg or anyone put onto the YouTube, so we don't just podcast, as you're aware. We put up videos every now and again, and tell Greg to clean his effing table so that he can play a game on it with someone. So we invite all members of the usual Auckland community to play with Greg. in Greg's
There are
garage. You know,
plenty-
not play with
There
Greg.
are plenty of people that could go down there and play with Greg.
Yep, in his little dungeon.
As long as I've got an army that like
There are
sees
plenty of
that
people.
play.
Plenty of people would like to play with you.
For
in your
God's
dungeon,
sake, make sure you take your own ball gag, okay? Because the stuff down there is pretty scody.
Yeah. Disinfect, then you get it done. Anyway, that's us.
So much coronavirus down here, it's not funny.
Yeah, just bring a mask. All right. Toodaloo for now, everyone. Have a great time, and we'll talk to you again soon.
It's good.
Bye.
Bye.